What's up guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to Roots and Refuge Farm. It's a little drizzly and rainy. We are thoroughly into fall and the first freeze is coming here to central Arkansas either tonight or tomorrow night. I don't really know. Tonight's gonna be cutting it kind of close. So I'm gonna go out here and harvest today. We'll definitely freeze tomorrow night. I think they're forecasting it to be about 26 or 27 degrees. So definitely gonna freeze tomorrow. And so I thought we would do one final full garden tour of this season while the garden still has a lot in it. Now we have things that are gonna carry over past the freeze, things that I've planted that can tolerate the cold weather. But this is the fullest that the garden's gonna be for the rest of the year, is right now. And we'll do one more walk through. I've got my basket. I'm gonna be picking everything that can't handle the cold, and I thought I would bring you guys with me. Let's go take a look. So I'm a massive advocate of the fall garden. I am constantly encouraging people to grow in the fall, and I planted a good deal this year, but not as much as I usually do. This gardening year, I was thinking about it earlier, it felt a lot like playing board games as a child. With your siblings, where you realize you're gonna lose and you're like, do over, do over. Like this entire year, I felt like just crying out like, do over, let's start over again. Thankfully with gardening, you get to do that. You know, there's always next year. We've always got that to look forward to. I'm definitely taking some ideas and things that I wanna do differently next year into the next growing season. And partially some of the struggle of this year was completely, it was outside of my control. The weather was crazy. We had a really late start in the spring, and then the frost is coming a couple weeks earlier this year than it did last year, so it is what it is. Just kind of making the most of it. Now I'm just gonna take you guys through and show you what is still growing here in my garden, tell you what has volunteered, what I planted, and as usual I'm gonna keep it real with you. There are a lot of weeds down here. Like I said, I didn't do as much this fall as I normally do, and I feel okay about that. I actually really do. So I'll show you what we got going on. Let's check out this first bed. Now we've got all of these arches, which for the most part, I'm not sure about the butterfly peas. Those might withstand the frost, because I know sweet peas do. So those may last. Everything else that's on an arch is going to die whenever it freezes. So all of these are actually going to come down. We're going to be reconfiguring those. Here right on the inside of the garden, this is a coleus that has gone to seed. So I was actually recently told by a commenter on our channel that you can root coleus in water. So I'm thinking I might take some clippings of these. This was a really beautiful stained glass kind of variegated leaf coleus that I got. And so I was thinking I might root some of these in water in the house over the winter to have starts for when spring comes back around. A lot of these here, these are zinnias, same on the other side. Those are gonna die with the frost. There's not a lot going on here. I've got a row of peas. Now these are a dwarf variety. They're called, I want to say Desiree is in the name of them. I'll look it up and put it on the screen here. But they don't require trellising. So these are going to be kind of like a bush variety. They'll do fine with a light frost. They should be fine. Down into where we get into a hard frost can actually kill these. So hopefully it'll stay mild enough for them to actually produce something. And all through here in this bed, there are lots of little baby carrots, beets. Like this entire bed is sowed with carrots and beets. And they're a little small going into the cold weather. I knew in sowing that stuff that I was taking a risk that it wouldn't be super established when the winter hit. I live in Arkansas. Our weather is really sporadic, and I mean it's like this for everybody. I was talking to some friends today that were saying that they're having record-breaking cold and snow right now in October where they live, and so you know you can never really anticipate what's going to happen. You just kind of take a guess. With these carrots and beets though, I'm just going to come through and mulch all of this, and if they don't grow a lot right now, it doesn't get so cold here that they should be fine. Like they should just stay stunted. They won't grow a lot, but worst case scenario, they'll pick back up in like February and start growing because our ground doesn't freeze really hard here, so I can actually do that. So I actually last year had a lot of carrots that I harvested around February or March that had overwintered and started really small. Now down here, this is where I'm gonna have to do some serious picking today. Actually, I'm gonna go through with my video first and then come back and pick, just because it's not raining right now, so I can have the camera outside. But all of this, these are all peppers. And these are ahi pineapple, I think is what it's called, which is kind of like a tropical hot pepper. And they're supposed to be yellow when they're ripe. You can see that one right there. Now there are a lot of green peppers on this plant, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pick them green because these are all going to die with the frost. Here, these are Sugar Rush peaches. Like, these would get darker orange if I left them out here, and I've got quite a few on this plant, but I'd rather pick them a little underripe than not get them at all. Once they've been frozen, they won't be good for much. And as you can see, a lot of these pepper plants are really loaded down with peppers. So I'm gonna come back after we're done with this video and just pick those as fast as I can. Now down here, I've got some okra plants that had re-volunteered. Those are gonna die with the frost. These marigolds will die. This is basil. All the basil is gonna go, so probably something that I will do, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these big plants off and carry them in my house. And so what I'm gonna do with these is I'll actually puree those. I might freeze them in with some oil. Basil doesn't do like fantastic like that, but it does pretty good. And some of them I'll dry. I already have so many dried herbs in the house that you know, you can only use so much of that stuff. And once you've got like half-gallon jars full, it's kind of just like you let it go. A lot of this basil I grow out here, not even necessarily because I think that we're gonna use it all. We use a lot of it, but basil's a great companion plant. When it goes to seed, the pollinators love it, and it's supposed to help bring in beneficial insects and deter negative ones. So I grow it all over the garden. Here I've got some more peppers, melons, flowers. All of these are gonna be dying, unfortunately. So sad. So sad to walk through a green garden and know it's about to be gone. I actually don't know if I'm gonna have enough time today, but one thing that I'll do also if I have time, the rain is messing me up today. It wasn't on the forecast that it was gonna rain all day. And it's lightly drizzling now. It's been pouring all day. A lot of times what I'll do, like with these massive basil plants, if I don't have the need to preserve anymore, I will take it and feed them to my other animals, my goats, my pigs. And so I might make it back to them with those today, but I don't know. Here I've got some serranos. Like, check this out. These are loaded down. Definitely gonna need to come out here and pick these. That's a lot of peppers on these. A lot of these peppers were already kind of puny, so they'll be out. Oh, look at that. I thought this was dead. One last little weak Kajari melon. I wonder if this is any good. Oh, it's got a hole in it. Oh, gross. Well, I suppose I could save the seeds of that. Let's just put that little guy over here. So here I have a thyme plant, which is massive. It's been there for a couple years. That guy will probably make it through the winter just fine. May die back a little bit, but he'll come back full force in the spring. Ooh, my hands smell like Kajari melon now. Now, over here I've got Tulsi, holy basil. Also have a lot of that already harvested. That's gonna die back. More peppers that are gonna die back. These are cabbages. They'll be fine with a mild freeze. Most of this bed is actually just stuff that reseeded, because this is one of the beds I had intended to plant more fall stuff in. So these are all ground cherries that won't last through the freeze. And down here, just a ton of weeds that came back in. I actually just didn't have this spot very mulched. I had pulled the mulch back, planning to replant it. And this is the difference. This is the difference that's made with mulch and without mulch. So unfortunately, my beautiful banana trees, they're gonna die back with the freeze. They'll come back next year. This is why they do not bear fruit here without being able to be, you know, covered. If I were able to take these like into a greenhouse or something, they would be able to make bananas. But since they die back every year and regrow, they don't make bananas here in Arkansas. It's starting to rain a lot heavier. I didn't get through very much of this garden with you guys. I think maybe we'll sit in the pavilion for a second and see if it slows back down. So these two beds here, they'll be gone entirely. Everything in these beds is frost tender. All those reseeded zinnias, this holy basil, cucumbers, cucamelons, as well as some other cucumbers over there. These are all going to be gone. Basil, peppers. The rain is not stopping. Sweet Maya just got home. I sat out here for about the last 20 minutes and talked to my brother on the phone while I was waiting for the rain to stop, and I don't know that it's going to. So I'm going to kind of tell you guys a little bit about what else is going on in the garden, but I can't take my big camera rig out there. Actually, most everything else that is in this garden is about to die. There are some herbs here. There's some thyme. There's some garlic already back there. I've got more garlic to plant. The lemon balm and mint will live through the frost. And there are a couple of herbs throughout here. And there are some carrots that I've sown in that bed. Everything else that's here is going to die. I'm going to save some seeds out of the snake gourds. I'm going to harvest all the cucamelons. I'm actually planning on picking a lot of flowers and just putting them all throughout the house. But yeah, most of this is going to be gone. I was trying to do a garden tour.
Yeah, it's not working.
No.
You could tour the pavilion.
Yeah.
These are the seeds you left out that are gonna grow things in their packaging.
Yeah, I accidentally left some seeds out here.
It happens.
I already planted most of them out of those packages. They got wet, but I planted them anyway. Yeah, I've got our new chairs here that my friend Lauren brought for me that are gonna be with our new table once it's built out here. Okay, it's just drizzly for a minute. All these squash are gonna go. So I'm gonna pick them. There are a few little ones here that I'll go ahead and pick. Oh, my precious zinnias are all gonna go. I'm gonna have mason jars of vases all over. The rosemary will live. And all of this kale, there's lots of kale in these beds in various stages. Some are small, some are a little larger. I got some bigger ones here. Those are all gonna live. But yeah, the garden is just about finishing up. Her glory is fading for now. Let's go over to the greenhouse. Oh, all this is gonna be so brown. I feel like I should show these again because I've shown them on my vlog for the last couple days. Look how fast they're growing. Isn't that nuts? Well, I had intended on this video being cooler. But it is what it is. It's the radar shows rain for the rest of the day. And so I did want to talk to you guys just a little bit about a very deliberate choice that I am making this year going into the gardening year. In the past, this day, the last day before the freeze comes, has been so mind-bogglingly difficult for me. I'm talking like tears shed difficult. And going into the winter, I've had such a hard time being blue. And I'm actually making a very, very conscious and deliberate choice that this year is going to be very different for me. Oh, I just saw something funny I have to show you. Okay, sorry, I just looked up and saw this. So here in my Greenstalk, look at this. This is a kale that had grown up and been harvested. See all these little things? Those are all leaves that had been pulled off. And so it was just a stalk, and I left it in here, and look, it's growing again. How cool is that? Okay, back to our serious talk in the greenhouse. Sorry, squirrel. So I'm actually making a very deliberate choice this year to really, really embrace the glory of winter and what it was intended for, because truly the earth was designed to rest, and I know that we were too. And so instead of being completely bummed, I just want to like embrace the coziness and the wonderful opportunity that winter gives us to spend time with family and to rest and just be inside. I want to just completely enjoy this season. I want to really put a lot of thought into my garden plan for next year and go into it very thoughtfully. I want to really use the resources I have, like I'm growing these little salad greens here in my greenhouse, and I'm going to get some more soil bags and grow some more little soil bag container gardens here in my greenhouse. And I do have some things in the garden beds, but I've made my peace with the winter, and I want to be able to share that with you guys. A lot of you have mentioned about how this time of year is a struggle for you and how you do find so much peace in your garden that this time of year is hard. So I definitely want to share the garden planning and you know, share some content where we can together sit down with some seed catalogs and geek out over the endless possibilities of next year. You know, the do-over has so much possibility in it. Like, we are unhindered in our dreams for the do-over, and I just want to completely embrace the rest of the winter and the hope of the do-over with you guys. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm sorry that this wasn't a more extensive tour of my garden's last day, but I guess that's fitting now that I've decided that I'm going to let her go gracefully and without much lament. Of course, it would be a short and sweet goodbye. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.